in John chapter 6. After these things, Jesus went across the Sea of Galilee, that is, the Sea of Tiberias. And a large multitude followed him, because they had seen the miracles which he performed on the sick. And Jesus went up on the mountain and sat there with his disciples. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was at hand. Then Jesus lifted up his eyes, and seeing a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where will we buy bread so that these might eat?" But this he said, testing him, for he himself knew what he was about to do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread isn't enough for them, even if each one of them takes a little. Each of them takes a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, said, "There's a little boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. But what are these amongst so many?" He had a little bit of faith, but then it withered. But Jesus said, "Have the men to sit down for a meal." Now there was much grass in that place, so the men sat down, in number about 5,000. Then Jesus took the loaves, and when he had offered thanks, distributed them, and likewise the fish, to the disciples, and the disciples to those who were reclining, as much as they wanted. And when they were full, he told his disciples, "Gather up the leftover pieces so that nothing is lost." So they gathered them, and they filled 12 small baskets with the broken pieces of the 5 barley loaves which were left over by those who had eaten. Then, when the men saw the miracle that Jesus had done, they began to say, "This really is the prophet who is coming into the world." But then Jesus, realizing that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, withdrew to the mountain alone. So they were going to make him be king. Remember that. When the evening came, his disciples went down to the sea, and after boarding the boat, they started across the sea toward Capernaum. Now it was already dark, and Jesus had not come to them. And the sea began to rise because a strong wind was blowing. Then when they had rowed 25 or 30 stadia, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near the boat, and they were afraid. But he said to them, "It's me, don't be afraid." Then they wanted to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land to which they were going.